Your hair is glowing in the sun, your hand in mine so warmly bound. It's bright outside and bright inside. Mid-afternoon, mid-Eastern, we're free to wander anywhere. No more hatred in the stairs. Everyone's busy, minds their own, so it's just me and you and my Syrian. Not long ago, the dogs of war, their bodies strewn across the floor. The shattered ruins, the blood, the sounds, the ugly face of horror came and left like morning winds, left us nothing but the wings. What was it worth? What was it for? You don't ask me, I still don't know. My Syrian. Glitter in the sand, your soul and mind so warmly blend. It's dark outside and bright inside, late afternoon it is then. No need to wander anywhere, fire's burning in our stairs. Everyone's busy, minds their own, so it's just me and you and my Syrian. Hello everyone! Welcome to the first episode of the Late Saints blog. I'm kind of excited about this. I've been thinking about it for a while. And it looks like it's high time to get started. So I'm sure there will be a lot of fine-tuning. This is the first episode. I set up a bunch of things and it should be good. But you never know. So I have some people. There's a chat. If you see something that doesn't work, please let me know in the chat and I'll try and fix it in real time, or at worst I will fix it in the next episodes. So far seems like everything is going well, and maybe this is the volume, this is better, and yeah, so let's get into it. As many people said before me, these are difficult times, and usually that affirmation is followed by something really nasty. Now we're going to try and reverse that paradigm into something more positive. These are difficult times, hence we're going to stand up and start talking. What I've noticed, I've been in the United States for 16 years now. Almost 16 years. And disclaimer, I don't know if you noticed the accent, I'm not from this country originally. Now I'm a full-grown citizen, but I still retain my accent. I was born and raised in Italy, and I lived there most of my life. And so this is my second home, let's say. And what I've noticed since I've come, I've noticed a progressive deterioration of the national psyche, I would say, and the discourse and the social fabric. Everything has become so inflamed and so politicized that it's become almost impossible to have a serious discussion with anybody without hurting each other's feelings or ending up insulting each other and basically achieving absolutely nothing. What the situation is definitely not very conducive to a growth of the country. In these challenging times, I think it's very important that we reestablish lines of communication with everybody. And I can't fail to notice that it has become the norm from the top layer to stoke the fires, inflame the souls and the dispositions, so that everything is like managed by division. So one of the first criteria that I use when I discuss with anybody, when I have a debate, or when I confront ideas, is never to insult anybody and never to basically try to bring them down without listening to their argument. I'm going to listen to everyone and everyone's arguments. And I want to be very attentive because many people tend to repeat blatantly what they've heard and tend not to reason with their heads. So what we're going to try and do on this podcast, where we're going to discuss topics like news, politics, spirituality, music, ethics, and many more, and where we're going to have guests and we're going to play segments of other podcasts and pieces of news and everything that reinforce our point of view or make us think. While we're doing all this, we'll welcome discussion. We'll welcome the idea of fostering an environment where everybody can add to the discussion and allow all of us to expand our minds and understand and get a better understanding of the thinking and of the general situation. I was raised as a critical thinker, so I was raised to consider what I was told and then elaborate that on my own. And I believe that the capacity and the faculty has been profoundly hindered in modern day life. We tend to have a herd mentality, and those who branch off for one reason or another are immediately depicted as outcasts or crazies or cuckoos or conspiracy theorists. Conspiracy theorists, oh my goodness. That's a term that has become a thing in itself. There are conspiracies. There are groups of people that plot to do things for certain agendas or with certain finalities, with certain goals. Theories arise when their goals and their agendas are hidden, and therefore they leave openness for the theories to grow and fester. That doesn't mean that there aren't conspiracies. Right now, I believe that one of the reasons why all these podcasts have exploded exponentially is because people are really looking for alternative ways to approach the discussion, alternative ways to interpret the data, alternative ways to garner information and draw their own conclusions. So I would say that the term fake news and disinformation, misinformation, and bias, hesitancy, all these things are actually used in the first place by the ones who are spreading disinformation in order to preemptively void the points of those that they are meant to attack. And it has become very, very complicated, I have to say. It's very difficult to discern what's true and what's not true without getting into the merit of what is in everybody's mind at the moment. There are numerous fronts where lies, propaganda, and straight out confusion is bestowed from the top to the bottom. And then we have to fend for ourselves, trying to figure out what is true. And I wouldn't put it past organizations or conglomerates that were considered esteemed and reliable to have been completely infiltrated and corrupted by the mechanism by which large corporations tend to acquire broad segments of the economy and then influence the choices of governments and their own subjects to fulfill their own quarterly needs and then their own profit motives. So, what are we going to do in this blog? What are we going to do? Like, we are definitely doing a commentary on the news. So there will be me coming in when something relevant is happening. There are so many relevant things that I'm going to be in right away on this one. And then we're going to have elaborations. Hopefully, your chat and your feedback in the chat will be paramount to stimulate the discussion and kind of orient it in real time. So I'll start any segment with a prepared set of images, slides, links, mini portions of videos that I want to play for you. And then hopefully your input will steer the course of the discussion into something that opens everybody's minds and then allows us to have a better understanding of what we're talking about. I have been following many podcasters myself, and I have to say that they've been paramount to my understanding of different situations and also about my inspiration um regarding getting more documented and learning more about the things that I'm talking about. So I feel like um, it's come the time has come for me to really start pouring out everything that I've been absorbing throughout this past, I would say, 5, 6 years, 7 years. A lot of international politics, a lot of national politics, a lot of debates, a lot of like um, parts of the general thinking that are for me kept hidden from the general public and then should be a matter of like wider discussion and awareness, whereas they're like surreptitiously kept away from common uh, knowledge so that they never become an object of discussion. um, I try to inspire this discussion via the usual channel, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, but the censorship has become unavoidable. I have to say, since like Zuckerberg declared that we cannot talk about politics on Facebook, that the political posts would be profoundly blocked them. Um, Blocked. So it's really hard to bypass that filter. Like he has decided that um, the discussion won't be revolving around politics because for Facebook has decided that that's not conducive to a good vibe on the platform. And as Facebook, Twitter, and other, sorry, somebody's saying that I should turn the speakers off, which I thought I did. Let me see. We might be experiencing some echo, I guess. So, in this first episode, we're gonna fine tune and figure out what's not working in this setup. What I was saying is that like these platforms have decided to set the tone of what we can talk and we cannot talk about. Like if like a free discussion was actually not conducive to information, but was conducive to wild, crazy theories that like destroy the society from the inside. So this is exactly the opposite of what's going to happen. Censorship has never led anywhere, and then free discussion is conducive to understanding. Now, the discussion uh, should be revolving around facts and not just opinions, because a lot of people have this problem that they just talk without having documented themselves and then sort of parrot certain kind of points, both for the establishment and against the establishment. And I think there is still a way to determine what is real and what isn't, but it has to be based on facts and numbers and, you know, something that we can agree upon. If the discussion is just a matter of inflamed opinions, we're not going to really go anywhere. But this is exactly the result of the platforms that tend to inflame and bubbleize your sphere of reception and influence and therefore uh, limiting your capacity to listen to and understand and confront yourself with anybody else. So we're going to try and reestablish, this is what we're going to try and reestablish here in the first place. So we'll present facts, hopefully, as far as I can uh, go, as in all the documentation that I've been doing on the topics that I'm talking about. So I'm going to present you with facts, I'm going to present you with my theories, and then we're going to take it from there. I don't have any agendas, nobody's paying me. Unlike all the people that you see, that the established media is portraying itself as a virtuous, objective monolith, whereas it's exactly the opposite. The established media is completely bought out by very few individuals. There are four corporations that own all the media outlets. These corporations are oftentimes the ones that give the politicians the money to run their campaigns. Therefore, I would say they have a strong influence on the politicians as well. Now we have a very, very dangerous mix where the legislators and the ones that talk about what's going on are all in the pockets of the ones that are above. So I think that the pyramid is actually like this. There are the ones who hold the money, okay? And then the money goes down, trickles down to the media and the politicians. The politicians go down and the media give it substance and importance. And then everything trickles down to us. So when it gets to our level, we really have no way of determining what's really going on because the media that we would normally think is the one that is going to tell us what's going on is actually doing propaganda for the government or the establishment, whatever you want to call it. And I'm not getting into the merit of Democrat or Republican. There's in the United States we have one body, and it's the corporation body. That's what it is. Those are the ones that pay. Come dice, as they say in Italy, carta canta, like paper talks. In the United States, money talks. So I give you the money, you do what I say. It's that simple. It's a very basic principle. So we cannot expect and be so naive as of thinking that people that invest millions of dollars in their candidate are not expecting anything in return. That would be a little stupid to, even consider as a possibility. So like we're gonna go on from there, and usually they say follow the money trail, right? Like, and then when we're gonna start following the money trail, we're gonna start talking about things and putting them in context, which is the thing that never happens. Things are not put in context, or the context is very, very skewed. So we're gonna try and reestablish a little bit of that, and then analyze what is really going on lately uh, with a little bit of thinking, like like good sense, thinking, elaboration, input from different voices, put everybody together. Because one thing I want to tell you, if you look around and you start applying this principle that I started applying a little bit ago, you're going to be fine. The principle is if you are being pushed to punch around you or down, if you're being pushed to direct your anger and your resentment to against your peers or to your inferiors, you're not thinking straight. So there is a very clear way to look at things. Everything that is telling you to hate someone around you or below you is manipulating you. All our problems are not happening for the people around us. The problems are happening for the people from above. They are the ones that use the money in certain ways, they don't give us the things that we need, and then they manipulate us to hate the ones around us or below us. If you nobody ever manipulates you to hate them or to rebel against them or to change your perspective against them. It's always around you or below. That's how you know you're being manipulated. Your enemy is not your neighbor. Your enemy is not your family. Your enemy is not the ones that are below you and have less than you. Your enemy, if you want to use that term, are the ones above you, are the ones that have the purse, are the ones that make the choices. Like are the ones that are okay giving $20 billion to destroy other countries, but they're not okay to give you $20 billion for healthcare during a pandemic. Those are the enemies. And if you notice, in the media, there is never blame above. There is political warfare, you know, but then it trickles down and it makes you hate the people, not the leaders. The leaders never pay for their mistakes. The leaders never give the money back. It's our money. Hey, Julian. Hey, I heard there's a little bit of echo, so I'll fix this thing. Hopefully, it's not that terrible. Um, I don't know where it's coming from because there is no speaker back, but I don't know where. We'll figure it out. Anyway, so all this to say, we're gonna try and have like common sense, and we're gonna try and talk about things to try and get to the gist of them, to get to the truth, to the core. We're gonna talk about ethics. We're gonna talk about morality. We're gonna talk about community, because I strongly believe that what is incredibly missing right now is that sense uh, of like community, of being all humans. We have been through a scorcher in the past 2 years, and we came out of this hating each other. Instead of like realizing what has been really going on, we have all come out of this poorer, more beat up. Some of us have come out of this more tempered. Some have become stronger. But a lot of us have gotten the blow of what was happening. But what has been incessant during these past 2, 3 years is the message from above to divide us by color, by race, by gender, by political orientation, by vaccination status, by whatever else. It's one single incessant message. Your neighbor is your enemy. Anybody that is different from you is the enemy. And we're only going to look at the differences, and we're not going to look at the similarities. The fact that we're all humans, that we all want the same things, that we want to live a decent life with the people that we love and what we like to do. So, as a general rule, listen with your heart from now on to what people tell you. And when what they tell you brings you to hate and to divide and to separate, then you know who's speaking. The unity is the only way, as Julian suggested. It's the only way by which we are going to reunite all the forces, all the good people that is us, against the ones that are actually trying to divide us and break the society down to the core. So, this is what we're going to try and do. We're going to try and make you look at things, make you understand what are the manipulations, what are the situations that are being skewed around, and with what agendas. If we can get there, because sometimes things are not clear, but there are some things that are pretty clear, and it's just through misinformation, obfuscation, and omission that the public media manipulates the common consciousness. So we'll talk about foreign politics. It's one of the little pet peeves of mine. I love foreign politics. I've been following very, very closely in the past 10 years the situation, in Libya, Syria, Yemen, Iran, Iraq, and I've noticed some certain common denominators amid all these different nations. What we did to them, they didn't do anything to us. What we did to them, and how the public perception has been skewed to hate, again, hate, division, separation, via religion, via terrorism, via all these things, finding always the things that divide the population. stigmatize the diverse so that we can kill them, so we can destroy them. This is the usual modus operandi of the mass media. So separate, demonize, justify whatever other measures are going to pay. So we're going to talk about foreign politics a lot. Ukraine is coming up. There's going to be a conflict in Ukraine very soon. We look at that and then put it in perspective. And I'll try and give you a thing that is not possible for me to do on Facebook or Twitter, where my posts get throttled and then nobody sees them at all. I'm going to try and put links to the people that are doing this research on a much bigger scale with like journalists and everything that I've been following. And then you will know when they talk that they have the correct point of view because it's substantiated by facts, by diagrams, by analysis, by knowledge of the players and who's doing what and for what reason. Unlike what we get told on the media, which is always hate, demonization, and then authorization, implicit authorization or tacit authorization that the American people do without rebelling. Because don't forget, this is all your money. It's your money, money that gets used and squandered. It's not used for you. It's used to attack and destroy and make money for their friends. So don't forget everything that the government does. And by government, I have no problems with government. I have problems with corrupt governments that legislate for the oligarchy rather than the people. So never forget, the government uses your money, your hard-earned money that you give with the taxes, and the government uses it. A vast majority of that money gets squandered for reasons that have no relation whatsoever to the people that gave the money in the first place. So let's start thinking in these terms. The stimulus packages that you got, it was your money. It was not the government. The government only uses your money. So you give the money to the government and the government is supposed to help back when it's time. Okay? The government is not supposed to squander the money or make their friends rich, because that's not what a government should be doing. So, without getting too deep into the thing, we're going to try and stimulate critical thinking by thinking critically, by documenting ourselves, and talking lightly or heavily or passionately. Full disclaimer, I'm Italian, so I'm going to fly off the handle multiple times, but you know that it's okay, because I'm Italian, all right? So in Italy, we fly off the handle, and that's how we do things. So sometimes I'll lose my temper, especially when things are too much, and then that's okay. Anyways, thank you very much. I heard there are some echo problems. I'll try and fix them for the next podcast. I think Ukraine is going to be the next, because the situation needs to be clarified very, very nicely, and before a war ensues, which seems to be the case very, very soon. Anyways, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for joining the chat, and then subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the button and notification so next time I go live, you'll hear about it. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Hey.
Your hair is glowing in the sun, your hand is glowing in the sun. Your hand in mine so warmly bound, it's bright outside and bright inside. Mid-afternoon, minister, we're free to wander anywhere. No more hatred in the stairs, everyone's busy, minds their own. So it's just me and you and my Syrian ago, the dogs of war, the bodies strewn across the floor, the shattered ruins, the blood, the sounds, the ugly face of horror came and left like morning winds, left us nothing but the wings. What was he worth? What was he for? You don't ask me, I still don't know. Brazilian.